So using as many opportunities as possible to try to conjure back this very lively Black life world that is no more. And I thought, what better way, especially when I sort of took a pause, what better way than to really bring you to the day that Du Bois arrived, right? Like, what about what that must have looked like, what that sounded like? I mean, he talks about it in a lot of depth in his own autobiography. And so it really seemed like this real great opportunity to really try to lay some texture so that it's like, who is this person, right? What if you imagine Du Bois as an upstart, recent guy? Like, I mean, it's a completely different way of imagining Du Bois, right? That it also, his, where he was at the time in some ways is a nice layover to where the neighborhood was, newly emergent, robust, full of possibility and promise, hopeful. All of these things I thought really lined up with him, the Philadelphia Negro, that moment in time that then in some ways works as what I like to call a sociological time machine, where then you fast forward to this place and then you fast forward to this place. So the idea is really zooming in and out for me. So you start somewhere and then you sort of go back to sort of figure out how we get to this point. And then after you get to the point that it starts at, to then go forward to see what everything looked like after we come through that particular lens.
Yeah, well, yeah, and thinking about Du Bois too, you use this great quotation that he had too, as thinking of it as a door, Philadelphia as a door of opportunity that might have been open just a crack.
Right, just a crack.
To be sure, but a distinct opening.
Right.
So thinking about the evolution of your dissertation into this book, I'm wondering who some of the main influences on your writing may have been, whether they were historians, other ethnographers, fiction authors. Who would you pinpoint as sort of stylistically speaking, people who influenced your writing?
In terms of the actual writing of it, I am extremely grateful to the following prophets: Audre Lorde, James Baldwin, and Barbara Christian, as three major folks. Then Zora Hurston is one of my ultimate favorite writers of all time, and really, was trained as an ethnographer. And when I was a student at Columbia, because of her association with Columbia and Barnard, I would see her all the time. Her and Langston Hughes were in the bookstore, where pictures were around. There were awards named after them. And what I really like about both of their work is I really wanted to write a book that focused on what Black people were doing, what Black people were saying, how they framed their lives, each other, issues that really matter, as opposed to thinking about what white folks are doing. And I think one thing, for example, if I think about The Color Purple by Alice Walker, it's an explicit attention to the Black life world, right? Whiteness is always looming somewhere on the outside or maybe around it, but what is driving the story is Black actors. So I was really passionate about that.